Hello and welcome to Jan and Jeff number 8. Jan, are you there?
I am. Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
How you doing? Everything all right?
Everything's going fine.
See, everybody loves us, Jan. Everybody loves us. Everybody loves
That's
us.
great. That's great.
Just listen to that. Oh my God.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I was thinking. I've heard, some people get annoyed, and I think why would you watch anything that annoys you? I mean,
Well,
but
hey,
you don't have to.
you don't
Although,
have to.
yeah.
George Carlin, that he did it. George
Oh,
Carlin
absolutely. Yeah.
did. If there's two dials on the radio.
Right.
If you don't like it,
Turn
you
it
turn it
off.
off. You turn the station. Anyway,
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I wanted to kind of start with what we didn't have enough time to finish last week, and that is the typical French sandwich, Jambon Beurre, which is just ham and butter on a baguette. And
yes.
it's interesting. I bring that up because it's such a classic. I mean, it's France's PBS, which when I went back to the States, I started seeing, PBS. So I'm like, what is a PBS? Well, it's a peanut butter sandwich. And it's interesting because they're trying to make an old thing come back. It's one of those vintage things made better, and that's what the French are doing with the ham and butter on a baguette sandwich. They actually, on the news the other day, they interviewed a fairly big chef. I can't remember his name because there's so many of them here.
Right.
But a fairly big chef in Lyon, and to talk to him about the Jambon Beurre. And here they're interviewing this guy, and this guy is saying, "Oh, there's nothing better than a Jambon Beurre." And now what they're kind of doing what we would do with a peanut butter sandwich. They're talking about getting the best baguette in town, and going and buying fresh made butter. And of course, the ham was they just killed the pig that morning, and
Right.
you know, but I mean, that's kind of, with the peanut butter sandwich, they're saying, the peanuts are freshly ground and the jam was, made this morning. And so if you do come to France, and you can buy a Jambon Beurre, a ham and butter sandwich on a baguette at any sandwich
A
stand.
boulangerie has them.
Oh, yeah, anywhere in France. At the gas stations when you pull off the road. And you know what? You just can't go wrong. They're always good to me.
Yeah, it's kind of standard. And did you see? I don't think we talked about this last week, but every year in Paris they have a contest for the best baguette,
I did see that.
and the
Yeah.
guy was from Senegal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting, certainly in the France of today. And he gets to deliver to the Élysée, the
Right.
palace, basically the French White House of the. I guess I don't
Right.
know how
Well, the
many
president's,
the
home.
president
Yeah.
gets to eat. Supposedly the best baguette in Paris. I don't know if we'd say France.
I can't remember if they said in France or in Paris either. I'm not
It's in
sure.
Paris. No, they say I think they only do the boulangeries in Paris, and I think he's in the 18th. We'll have the link to it because I'm
Yeah.
sure now it's going to be very popular.
Yeah. And you know what? This is the second year he's won.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I
I
heard
thought
that.
they could do. Okay, that's
And what I
interesting.
thought was interesting was, they did. I thought about that too. Is they say, there's us Americans have this typical image of a Frenchman wearing a bag, wearing a beret and carrying a baguette, and their boulangeries and this and that, and then you just see this really young, black guy that's from Senegal. That's just, there's no beret, there's no French look to him at all, and he's, the best baguette maker in Paris. Like,
Rain friends, and talking about that, we can move on to the second subject I want because this is just before Easter, and in France, well, if you're living in France as you and I do, what do we see in the boulangeries now?
Yeah,
We see
lots of
chocolate,
chocolate Easter
chocolate.
eggs.
And there is a friend of mine who lives, actually, she lives close to you,
Mm,
uh, in Ile-sur-le-Sorgue. I think I mentioned her before. And
yeah.
her husband is a pâtissier, and he's got a boulangerie. They both run it. And they had put on Facebook a couple days ago, and I'm going to share this on the page where when I put this on my website. They made a chocolate. It looked like a hamburger, but it was made out of chocolate.
You can do the clapping now, the laughing now, the Google laugh.
And they made other things. He made headphones out of chocolate.
How
too.
funny! Wow,
it's really funny. Yeah. That was something.
I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't know if I would drive all the way to Ile-sur-Sorgue to get that.
I wouldn't too, because there's places. Well, where I live, they have them. I think it's kind of cool. They have them year round. Those you can buy a chocolate smartphone.
Okay, yeah. They're getting creative.
It's something different.
Yeah.
It's chocolate. They're playing around. It's all right. Well, it's the same thing, kind of changing with the you're changing with the times, and you're changing with the ham and butter sandwich. They're kind of just bringing back something that they've always eaten.
Yeah. But I think that's clever that they're doing something that's going to attract the young kids or the young mothers. And, talking about bringing things back, there's this show on TF1 called Mon Food Truck.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I talked about it. It's a competition show, reality show, where these couples or, a pair of two are competing for the best food from a truck, that they park around, the city or, wherever you live, and sell from the truck. And it's interesting because there's this one Asian girl who I guess is the first one to ever sell Asian food from a truck in France. And I was kind of laughing because I'm so old now that in 1980, my first French husband, and of course I can justify that, came home one day with this truck, and he said, we had talked about selling his parents' peaches on the roadside because we're down here, between Paris and Marseille, and there's the main, highway that goes through here, not the freeway, but just a main principal road.
Right, the national road.
And he came home and he said, we're gonna, I found this great deal about this truck, and you're going to make French fries and hamburgers and hot dogs this summer. And I'm like, okay. So I actually ran a food truck.
You ran a food truck. Very good.
I ran a food truck, and that's just to add to the many, many things I've done. But I actually am starting to sound like a joke with all the things I've done.
but
I just thought it was interesting because now food trucks are kind of the new thing, and yet they've been around for a long time, but people are making them better. They're selling, like in LA, you posted that there's a food truck now that's selling hamburgers with foie gras.
Right, with foie gras, yeah. I think it's a French guy, too.
Yeah.
And going back to this Ile-sur-Sorgue, the bakery there, they make hamburger buns that they sell to the food trucks there.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not surprised.
They make hamburger.
Yeah. I saw a show on House Hunters International here where there was a young couple from Florida. She was American and he was French. And his family is from down that way, Carpentras, Ile-sur-Sorgue, a little bit further south maybe. And he was a chef in Florida, and they got on House Hunters International because they came back to France. They rented a home, I think, down that way, and he was going to start up the first food truck making hamburgers down that way. So, France is really, it is changing, and people are having to be inventive about what kind of work they find. And so I thought, I did want to mention this food truck thing because actually when you think about it, there's pizza trucks everywhere. I mean, they never went out of style. Yeah, they've just.
And what's interesting, there was one when I lived in Dijon that had a wood stove. It was a pizza truck with a wood stove.
Wow, that's, yeah. But, we eat pizza on a regular basis, but we buy it from a guy that I've been buying from for 30 years, DiMontino. And I don't know where else I'd go to buy a pizza other than the food truck.
We go to a place actually in BC-la-Marquenais in Burgundy. We're probably going to go over the weekend too. We go to this place and it makes pizza in a wood oven.
Yeah.
And he makes a lot of other things too. It's a Dutch guy, Dutch, South African. He's a mix of one of those, really a big mix. And he runs it, and they make pizza. And I love it. The wood oven is great because you go in and
Yeah, it does. And I'm not saying the only. I kind of take back what I just said. There's a lot of pizzerias. There's a lot of restaurants you can go to and eat pizza. But
Yeah.
when we get a takeout pizza, maybe once a month, and we just always. I mean, it's easiest to go to a food truck. It's closer than any pizzeria, and it's good.
It's good.
So
It's just good. Yeah, just as
it's
good.
on Sunday nights, and so But there's a lot of pizza trucks. Throughout France. So
French.
I don't know if you have. I just have two other things I wanted to say really
Okay, go
quick.
for it.
I wanted to say I noticed that. Well, I'll talk about the other thing. There is an expo that started. I think I'm pretty right. August or April 1st. It's just opening in Paris at the Grand Palais, and it's an expo by Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Ah.
And I've heard, now I actually have a cousin in California that is coming to see this expo because she missed it in LA. It's kind of been going around the world. I can't tell you in every city. And or it was in London, I don't know. But it's kind of been a traveling show, and it's coming, now it's going to end, but it's going to be in Paris. Well, it's in Paris now. For you'd have to Google it, but it's at the Grand Palais. It's Jean-Paul Gaultier, and so I have this cousin that's been telling me about it, and then I have my girlfriend Carlene from Australia. She has some Australian family that's been telling her about it. So there's kind of a buzz on this expo. So for people that are going to be in Paris, look it up if you're a Jean-Paul Gaultier fan. And I thought one thing that was really it's a different kind of expo. I guess he's got these kind of talking models. They're, it's a different kind of expo. But what I thought was interesting was this guy, Jean-Paul Gaultier, got a small straw doll when he was little, and he put boobs on it. He didn't know what else to do, but he put some breasts on this little straw doll that he got, and that's when he started becoming fascinated. And from that doll that he put these imaginary things on, grew into what he, his what would we call them, the bras that he did for Madonna in her show, and the pointy, gargoyle. I say gargoyle. I don't know how we describe him, but his passion for making those types of costumes on a woman's bust started when he was really little. And you can actually, the straw doll is on exposition.
Freud would have a field day with that.
A time with him. But I just thought it was interesting to know where where that whole idea and all those costumes that he's made for so many people around the world. So it's an expo. It's at the Grand Palais. And it started April 1st. So that's, I think, definitely worth seeing. Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to say is we didn't mention the plane crash for reasons you and I decided not to. It happened in the Alps. But I saw you said something in your newsletter. And I just did want to say I'm really glad that you pointed out that the worst brought out the best.
Right.
Because most people will rise to the occasion, but I did want to say chapeau to the French. I thought they've done a great job in being so efficient. We talk about how lazy they are sometimes, but they were on it. They've done a great job with the families, with cleaning up the mess.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, the Lufthansa has, I think, we'll see how long it lasts, but so far they've done a really good job, and they brought in they have they rented a hotel in Marseille.
Right.
No, what I mentioned in my newsletter that they're building a road. They're building a road to
Absolutely.
Pretty amazing. They're building a road, and how fast they put up a memorial too. I was really surprised.
I just say chapeau because I thought the French have responded so quick and so well with all those gendarmes. Up there in the wind and the cold, because you can tell that the terrain is just really difficult to work on.
It's a very difficult site too,
Yeah, I did. So, sometimes the worst does bring out the best. And, most of the time people will rise to the occasion, and the French certainly have on this occasion.
They have on this one, yeah. What I wanted to, there was one thing I wanted to finish with that I did wrong last week was J'irai dormir chez vous is going to do live. It's this week, it's the April 4th. Saturday, April 4th at 18 or 6:05 French TV, France 5.
Okay.
So I wanted to start with that. I had missed that one. I really like the guy's show, but
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, and so I think in the next coming week we'll start talking. I'm getting ready to plant tomatoes.
Oh, yes, we're going to be planting, absolutely.
Yeah, talking about gardening a little bit and more food. So
okay, sounds good, Jan.
Have a great Easter Bunny weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Doing some hippity hoppeting.
Yeah, exactly. Bye-bye.
Okay. Ciao. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.